All right. Hello, everybody. Everybody good? We relax, we're nice? Okay. Right, welcome one and all, Tottenham residents and beyond. Today we're here to celebrate the musical history and the social contribution and the impact and the popular culture that Tottenham has had on the world. And we have a team of people who are integral in music and social aspects in Tottenham. So, with no further ado, I'm going to introduce them from left to right. Ladies first. We have Mary, that runs out the little record shop in Wood Green. Right, can I give it up for Mary? Do you want to say a little bit about yourself?
Hi, so my name's Mary. I'm an artist that goes by the name of Wonder Woman, and I'm the founder of The Record Shop, which began as a pop-up recording studio in Tottenham to enable young people to access music for free. And we were in Tottenham for 6 years and relocated in 2020 to Wood Green. So I've got a shop in the mall and I run The Record Shop. Nice to meet everyone.
Thank you, Mary, thank you. And then we have the legend, Mr. Mandingo, activist, producer, MC, host. Wow, so many accolades I can call him. So give it up for Mandingo. Mandingo, introduce it. Say a few words.
Greetings, and it's good that we are here to reason about music with respect to Tottenham. As my brethren here said, I'm a record producer, I'm a journalist, a sound system and radio DJ, and promoter also.
Big up Mando. Give it up for Mandingo. So the man I call the cornerstone of Tottenham, Mr. Clasford Sterling. Wow, so many accolades. Big up Clasford. So everybody will know him for his football attributes, but he's been musical, been involved in sound systems and raving, so he's got plenty to say. So Clasford, say a few things into it. Well, they know you anyway, but just for the record's sake.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. You know, as part of growing up, come here in 1964 and through the school and leaving school and getting involved in the social life and this, that and the other. And, you know, it's good to be invited here to, you know, give a remembrance of when I was growing up and how music impacted on my life and everybody else's life and how it steered my path even into community work and stuff like that. So, you know, honour being here.
Give it up for Clasford. On the left-hand side, this man I used to listen to used to be in a sound called Unity. A sound I used to follow, I used to listen to. This is the Navigator. Give it up for the Navigator. MC, Foundation, jungle, rubber-dub, dancehall, whole 9 yards. Navi, say a few things to them, please.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for inviting me, Mark Clasford. I haven't seen this man for 30 odd years. We were all here on the farm together. I started off in sound system culture around 1979 when I left school in Walthamstow, came to Tottenham, and I would say around 84, 85, I moved on to Broadwater Farm here eventually, even though I used to frequent over here. And I literally built a career in music through sound system. There were a few sound systems, I'll speak about them later on, but ultimately I reached onto a sound called Unity. And from Unity, I went on to go and do jungle music in its burgeoning stages in the early 90s, did breakbeat stuff, toured the world with live bands, was a host for jungle music on Radio 1. So many things, I don't want to go into it all, but I'm still active, still doing my thing, and it's definitely a blessing, you know, at this stage of my life to still be active and to be invited here to speak about the origins of this whole thing that they call sound system culture, because it's influenced the whole of the UK on levels, trust me. So thank you very much for, you know, inviting me here.
Respect, Navigator, respect. And as one of the foundation cornerstone MCs, he passed the baton to the man that representing right about now, the man called Shocker. Young MC, well, not young, he's been Around a little while.
I'm still young though.
Well, compared to us, probably. So, Chuck has been around a little while. Because it's new to me, because I didn't really know much about, because you know me, I'm kind of old school and this you do with the vinyl thing. So I started to do a little research and hear some of the tunes he's made. I'm like, whoa, this man's got lyrics, man. Yes. So, Shaka, give it up for Shaka. Want to say a few words?
Yeah, I'm actually honoured to be here. When Jade hit me up on Instagram and said, "You want to speak at Broadwater Farm?" I was like, "What Broadwater Farm?" And you know, as I kept asking you, and because I've grew up here my whole life, lived on the estate my whole life. I actually haven't been in this room for like over 10 years. Because like nothing has pulled me in to come back into this room. And Classford taught me how to play football from a kid. He grew me up. He was my first disciplinarian. Do you know what I mean? And not having a father figure, as someone that was just raised by their mum, Classford was like all our fathers, to be fair. Gave us our first like discipline and, you know what I mean, principles and how to conduct yourself. So I learned all of that here. And then music was something that just happened naturally. There's a lot of musicians that's come from this estate, and especially the newer generation, which you might not know about, like Heady One.
I'm hearing the names like Eddie One and Skepta. What you would
Abra,
Skepta,
yes, Heady One, Abra, Rex V2 is not too far. He's
Bando.
from Tiverton. He was from Tiverton.
Bando.
Yeah, Bando as well. So like all of us was doing music together. Everyone's in different parts of their journey, but everyone still helps each other, and it's just beautiful watching everything that's come out from Tottenham. And then Heartless Crew, which I'll speak about later, but that was the reason why I started music in the first place.
Wow, look at that.
Because there used to be something called presentation that Classford used to do. So after you win your awards, there'll be like a party in here, which I was too young to come into. But my mum used to work in that little office there, so I'll pretend like I'm going to see her, then sneak into here. And they booked Heartless Crew for one of them. And I remember that it was right there. That place was like where the decks and everything was. And I saw Heartless Crew. I was younger then, so I was trying to climb up to see them. And I was like, I want to do that. The way they've got everyone jumping up and down, I don't know what they're doing, but I want to do that because they're putting a lot of smiles on everyone's faces. So that was like, yeah, Heartless Crew is the foundation for me.
Thank you. I'm glad I brought the record and have it there. Big up for Shaka. Right, my name's Mark Professor. I'm not going to go too much about myself. I'm Tottenham resident from New School from 2015. My connection to, as in music culture in the area is, I'm in a sound called, well, I'm in a few sounds, but significantly I'm in a sound called the Mighty Ruler Sound System, which was actually founded in 1962. And what happened was that the man who owned it, Count Rob, passed away, and his stuff was just there. His family got rid of some of the stuff, sold some of the records, and there was a house clearance at the property. One of the guys in my sound rang me and said, "Hey, this old sound." I said, "Go for it, see what it's like." And when we got it, it was like it's like a treasure trove. It was just like history. Like, I know many people know about sound systems, how it is. Sometimes back in the day before sound systems were, bespokely built, people used to make them themselves, use a bit of, chipwood and different things and just put speakers together themselves. But when you look at it, it was a work of art. It was history. And because of that, people use it for photo shoots. So Nicholas Daly, who lived not too far from here, used it for a photo shoot. What's his name? Vogue magazine used it for a photo shoot. Adidas, the sound system actually plays. We restored it, so it actually plays as well. So we've been playing at Somerset House and different places. So we've been active. And because of that, it's kind of brought this way round full circle to be here and to Jade and Damali give me the opportunity to do this. So it continues. So that sound starting in 62, it stopped, it's been resurrected, it's playing. Tottenham has a long legacy of history and music, and we continue. So, without too much further ado, with me talking too much myself. Not only a round of applause. I'm just hosting. Right, I'll start with the first question, and I'll start with probably from you, and we all answer the same question together. And I think we kind of covered it anyway, but what's the most important thing about having a talk like this?
I feel like it's important to acknowledge the power of music and how it brings people together. I think that there's just so many aspects of music. There's the entertainment side of things. There's the therapy that people get from music. There's the culture. There's the artistry. And I think that just having everyone in one room and where everything comes together, you just recognize the power of music and how it's influenced people in many different ways. And just to also celebrate Tottenham, because it's so meaningful to all of us on the panel, and I'm sure the people in the audience as well, and just to acknowledge like the different experiences and the positive impact Tottenham has had on so many different people.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Mandingo.
Yes, the importance of what we are having here. Several things. Tottenham is one of the places in Britain which is very important in terms of sound system culture. Because sound systems are the vehicles that promote the music. And it is also significant that this reasoning is taking place at Broadwater Farm, a place where detractors would try to put down and deliberately omit the positivities of Broadwater Farm in terms of the people and the accomplishments, etc. So I'm very pleased and honored to be here. And this is a place that I've been from in the 1970s, here and the rest of Tottenham, a lot of times. So I've never lost touch. You know, I've had family and friends in Tottenham. And that also includes, of course, Broadwater Farm. So, again, it's very good that we are here and we can discuss, exchange ideas, etc. And it is very important that this should not be a one-off, but we should have regular meetings, conversations, like what we are having here this evening.
Thank you, Mandingo.
Yes, wow. I mean, it's such a great thing for me to even remember what we went through music-wise, because for us older ones, it was our social gathering, going to sound system and that, because I came here in 1964, and those days growing up, parents didn't go to pubs and stuff like that, you know. And I remember the very first social club. I don't know if anyone on the panel remembers what the first actual Caribbean social club was in Tottenham.
Was it Tradesall?
No.
I have no idea. I'm not even going to get involved in that one.
The very first was 79 The Crescent. And they had it up by St. Anne's. Okay. They had it below they had a cellar, and they converted it into a social club. And I remember my dad bringing me there because he was domino captain and kind of listening to how they socialise and this, that and the other. And as we get older and leaving school, going to the sound system was our club. That was our club, and trust me, some of us got in a load of problems with our parents when we went missing. You know what I mean? But that's where we learned about life, and we learned about all the different music and the artistry, you know. And you must have heard of the name Benjamin Zephaniah. I just went and rave, and I participated, sometimes chat something on the mic and this, that, and the other. But Benjamin always used to say to me, don't just listen to music as a chatting. He said, listen to the poetry of it. And you know, and I thought, wow, you know what I mean? And when I started to listen, I actually appreciated the DJs and the music even more. You know, so for me, it grew me up, and meeting the different talents. And I've got Navigator next to me, which we call him by a different name, and I just want to see if he remembers this one time. We finished work here on the estate when we were doing the contracts, and then we all decided to go to Dougie's one night Don't you remember that night?
I remember that
and
night.
it was so boring, but we were there. And we literally took over the sound system. And he done his thing that just absolutely took the place apart. I mean, it was just up there. And I said, huh? You know, but no, the talent, as Mandingo said, the amount of talent that's come out of Tottenham alone, you know what I mean? It should be listed and up there and appreciated.
Respect, Glassford. I'm glad you said that, because hopefully, as Mandingo said, this shouldn't be the first. Well, it is the first, but there should be more and more. Navigator.
Could you just ask me the question again? Because
I know.
Everybody's been talking. I lost track of the question.
I think we'll make it more. I'm not even going to read the question. I'm going to be more kind of free flow and things.
So,
we can kind
you know, for me, Tottenham and music in general go hand in hand. The first time I came to Tottenham was way back in the 70s, and it was to a club called Norwich, because Tottenham was actually a mecca. It was an epicenter of clubs back in the late 70s and 80s, right? See, man showing me a fly over there of Norwich, you know. So coming to Tottenham in 1979, 1980, not knowing anybody, and then being embraced by the sound system culture in this town definitely means so much to me. I lived on this estate for 10 years, between 85 and 95. I was coming over here before that. The farm wasn't even fully built when I first started coming here. So, you know, and it's amazing to think of how much Tottenham has actually achieved over those years. And being somebody that's come from that time, we were some of the first guys that were really chatting lyrics on sound system. For the love. There was no aspiration to be this great guy up and we're going to do all of this and we're going to earn all this money and we're going to be on TV. It was just like, I want to get on the mic. As a matter of fact, music is more like a sanctuary for me. It's a place where I can go. It's my chill spot. It's somewhere where I can just, it's a release. I get on the mic and I'm like, yo, and I'm letting out that, you know, frustration, the energy, instead of me going on road looking to war with people or whatever, which I would never do anyway. That's not my nature. But like, everybody needs a release. Music was my release and still is my release right now. I think it's so important that we understand the source element of sound, because sound is vibration, and vibrations all emit at a frequency, and that's what keeps the flesh on the bone. You understand me? So I understand sound system. I understand vibration and frequency from a source energy perspective, which is sound. And we all come from sound system culture. So that's very important for me. And Tottenham embodies all of that for me. You understand? So I'm very honored to be here today to represent.
Respect, Navi, respect. Shocker.
I think events like this is important because it's like, it's legacy and it continues, especially for the next generation. Because if I'm being really honest, I'm just happy here to learn history from what class is saying and what they're saying. I'm just learning so much that I never knew about. And I feel like history is so important. You need to know where you're coming from to know where you're going. When you know your history, it gives you a certain confidence. I was saying to someone on the phone a few days ago, coming from Broadwater Farm, and just the history around it, it kind of makes you want to be great. Because like everywhere I go to, as soon as I mention I'm from Broadwater Farm, they give me like a second look. Like, raw, like, do you know what I mean? So it's like when you're in school, you know, you had that person that had that famous big brother in the school, and they used to walk around like they was the guy because they're big brother. That's how I feel with Broadwater Farm, just having that history. So I feel like the younger generation coming from here, these events are so important because like looking on the table, I saw certain artists that came from here that I had no clue that from ages ago, people have been coming from Tottenham and making a name and doing like incredible things, and that just motivates you. So I feel events like this needs to continue just for that sake, just so the younger generation can see that I want to continue, I want to do something for themselves.
Can I just say, Shaka, I mean, just listen to what you're saying there, and just coming in on that when you spoke about Artless Crew and the beauty of music coming all the way through is the fact that when we had that presentation, it was actually the girls who was coming here, Poku, and they said, have you ever heard of Artless Crew? Who are they? this, that, and the other. And but it was their age group.
Yes, exactly.
You know, so I got in touch with them to find out who they were, and they said, oh, "No, we'd love to come there. We'd love to go." And in fact, here was their launch before they went viral all over the place.
Yes.
And Bushkin, I spoke to Bushkin the other day.
His Egan's son, brother, saw him at June's funeral the other day. June from Regal Records, she passed just the other day.
But they brought such a joy to that age group in how they played.
Yes.
You know, and it's like back in our days, you know what I mean, when we listened to Fat Man and music and all stuff like that.
Yes.
You know, that was our era.
Yes.
You know, and the art of it. And I remember, I don't know if any of you know Mr. Brooks.
No.
Used to make the preamps and the amps round by Elmhurst Road. And I used to go around his house, and you know Johnny Gadasha? Who passed, but you know, he was his uncle. And I used to sit in there and I listened to the music, and I said, that is wicked. He said, no man, the tweeter. And there's a valve no right, the sound no right. And you know, he'll make a few movement, the art of it, and then the bass just mellow. And then you know, you know, the master of it, that the soundsman, you know, brings that vibe, you know, and as Navigator's saying, you know, how you release. And then when you see him nodding like this, you know he's got it right. And he knows the people is going to know I've got it right, you know?
Yes, no, definitely. And it's funny because, like, just to mention the Heartless Crew thing, I met a girl recently and she called me and she's like, I want to introduce you to someone. I've been telling someone about you. And she put me on the phone and it was to Bushkin. But I wanted to just pour out everything about what I was saying about when I first saw him. But I just kept it humble and I just said, yeah, nice to meet you. But when I see him in flesh, I'm going to tell him everything. But that was a full circle moment for me, like, talking to him.
You know, there's one thing that just mentioned here, like you're saying, so it's that this legacy of like this torch being handed down in the history, and like now you mentioned Norwich. For those who are here, there's a flyer there. From what date is that? Well, my glasses. I need glasses.
1977.
Sunday, the 15th of May, 1977. Sufferer, Shaka, Fat Man. And Fat Man, for those who don't know, is a legendary North London sound. In fact, let's just, you know, just keep it free flowing. Let's keep it going, keep it moving. Sounds. What sounds did you guys used to listen to back in the day?
Wow. Well, me, Fat Man. I mean, my very early days was Scrap Iron. You remember Scrap Iron?
I remember Scrappy, man.
Yeah, you remember Scrap Iron? That was the early days, and I was kind of very fortunate that I actually raved with older than me. So City Dread, Jabones. City Dread was one that I always went to. A bit more mature and this, that, and that, but the music was a bit more old-fashioned-y, you know what I mean? But there was a circuit, and then you had Walkers, then you had Aces, and all the little Bonners. Even to chill out, you went round to Bonners after about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and music again, you know, fantastic.
Yeah, back in the day for me, I joined a sound called Phase One. In 1980, and they were up in Stanley Road Community Centre, which is up near Turnpike Lane. And our arch rivals were sort of heavyweight. Fat Man was the big sound. You know, I started off on party sounds, so it's the same thing like what Class was saying earlier on. At first, we couldn't get clubs and stuff like that, so the whole culture of sound system actually came from blues dances, shubbing, and house parties. You know, my father, that's what party used to keep in my house every weekend at one stage. My dad loved music. I grew up on ska and rock steady music. That was the main music he used to listen to, and we'd have every single Caribbean island in that house. Getting down, I was little, so we'd have to go to bed by 8 o'clock, you know what I'm saying? But we'd be upstairs going in the wardrobe, taking out the Long Life beer and the Baby Sham and that, and drinking it and getting drunk. And then we get beaten in the morning for drinking the alcohol and that. But you know, that was where I came from. So when I came to Tottenham, I then started to chat on the sound system, and I was going out there with these people. I'm not going to say who yet because you're going to ask the questions. I kind of felt like, wow, this is amazing. You know, it's like, wow, I'm actually on a sound system. Same thing with what Glassford said. When I first came here, I went up to Wood Green. There was a guy called Byron, and they had a sound called Rock Setter. And I'd go in this house, and this man's just got like circuit boards and capacitors and resistors and a soldering iron. The man, it was literally building the amplifiers, building the preamp, the equalizer, everything built, handmade. My eyes was popping out my head because I couldn't believe that that's what they were doing. You know, I'm on a sound chatting, and I go to this man's house, and he's built the whole thing. What? You understand? So that was like really amazing growing up. But then the aspiration, I suppose, was to get onto the bigger sound systems, which at that time was Fat Man. And Fat Man was the big sound. I think they used to play at Queen's Head up in Turnpike Lane there. That's when they used to play other places way before that. I was too young, even though I'm definitely old school like this man here, but I was too young to go to them parties. But I just remember those days, and it was an amazing time. People came out, they dressed up. You know what I'm saying? You came out, you danced with your woman. It wasn't no one set a man over there and the gal them over there and everybody trying to style everybody, and I got the biggest bottle of champagne and I got the this and that one. No, everybody came out, but we were just, your clothes were dry clean, your semen on your trousers straight like a chain line. No man, so that's how we grew up. But it was beautiful, amazing times and it was the music, the reggae music, the ska, the rock steady. That's what unified everybody. And then the sound systems, every single sound system had its own frequency. You didn't have two sound systems that sound the same. You don't know RC1 or no Void or them things nowadays. If Mandingo has a sound, theme sound, him like him bass round. Glassford like him bass a little bit more MIDI, right? I like my thing. My tops have to be crisp like a crackers. So when you go to the man who's going to build your amplifier, you request the actual frequency of. That's how deep sound system is really from back in those days, coming up to now. So yeah, them sound systems were the sounds that I grew up on and was listening to here in Tottenham back in the early 80s.
I had a list. I was doing research. I got some list of sounds, and they're like Fat Man Hi-Fi, North London. Sadiz, Tottenham.
Sadiz, yeah.
Sir George Hi-Fi, QB's resident. Scrap Iron, Tottenham, that's with Chargen. Seven Seals, Tottenham. Duke Roy, Tottenham. Count Eric, that's North London. We got Uncle Fee, Black Harmony Selector for that sound. Nationwide Sound of Tottenham. Ital Force, Tipper Sound.
Ital Force is Rebel MC sound. Congo Natty, that was his sound.
Yeah?
Congo Natty sound was Ital Force.
See, we were learning, man, because I didn't know that at all. See, that's why it's good to have these things.
MCs from here.
Yes, that I did know. Yeah.
You made the video on Tanzania.
Yeah. Whoa.
I'm learning.
We all are, mate. I thought Tipper Sound, The Mighty Youth of Zion from Bruce Grove. Count Shelley.
Yeah.
Was that Sir KP, Heavyweight Sound, Papa Eastman, I think that was a Stokey sound. Then there's some other sounds from Stoke Newington. So there was a lot of sounds from Finsbury Park,
Eastman
Wood Green.
is a Cool FM. That's him. Eastman that runs Cool FM was Eastman sound back in the day as well.
Yes, Afraid, Dalston. So I'm trying to stick with the Tottenham sounds, but there was I've got a website called Selectors Showcase. So what I'm going to do is try and put all the information on there as well so people can see, because there's a long list of sounds from the Tottenham surrounding areas, South London, East London, West London, and also the Midlands as well. So I'm going to try and put that there. But yeah, there were a
You
lot of
forget
sounds.
one song.
Huh?
You forget one song.
Or Unity.
No. Quadrophonic. Quadrophonic was from the farm.
Which wasn't quadrophonic in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I had to phone him yesterday, DJ Cowboy, and find out do you remember what his original name sound was?
You said something about Mighty or something.
Yeah,
like that,
his original was Jamaiti.
Jamaiti.
Because I remember when growing up, where did quadrophonic come from? He wasn't quadro. We named it here on the estate.
I think he had they had equipment that they kind of amassed together, and we just kind of threw it all together, and then it started, because we used to play in the school
Broadwater Farm School, yeah.
every Thursday. And, we were all on the farm, innit? So
artists
we'd be up on
nationally.
Tantrum, yeah, and everyone would go, boy, we keep a dance over this on the Thursday night, you know. So everybody we just a pile in there, everybody up on the mic. It was like a showcase in there every Thursday. You know what I mean? So them days was legendary. I think that session in that school there bust a whole heap of artists. A whole heap of artists, because we kind of got recognized from.
So which session was that one? Was that Quadrophonic dance?
Quadrophonic every Thursday in the school, right there. So in the Adams Road here, right there. So with the school there,
Wow.
right
Every
there,
Thursday?
Yeah.
Every Thursday.
Yeah.
Every Thursday. That's when my weekend used to start. Thursday, that's all. And then on Friday, we go 4 races and go do the whole thing and dance on Saturday. And like I said, doggies and cubies and Phoebes and all
Thursday.
of that.
Well, I have to speak to Mr.
Artists
about bringing
from
that
all
back.
over nationally. Artists from all over came there and done their thing on the mic, and it was just flowing. It was just absolutely flowing.
We had many Jamaicans coming up as well, yo.
Dance.
Many Jamaicans coming
from
up.
abroad,
big sound systems like Kilimanjaro, Gemini, Metro Media. All of these sounds came up here. And when they came to the farm. All of those artists came to the farm, and they would go and chat on the mic with us. You know what I mean? People like Daddy Freddie, who came from Jamaica, they just embraced us as English youth. So we didn't feel like it was any kind of competition. It was just all love. You know, it was a beautiful time. But Quadrophonic is a very, very important sound system in Tottenham.
I had them on the other list, but yeah, man, glad you mentioned them. And of course, Unity as well. Yes. Right, so we're talking about places to go and venues. So what venues were there that people used to go to?
I know you must know all of them.
Yes, before I come to the venues, with respect to sound systems from Tottenham, that I used to go dances regularly, without a doubt, Fat Man, Sir D's.
Yes.
You know, I mean, later on in the 80s, you have Unity with Robert combining with Sir D's. But Sir D's...
Did you used to go Fanso?
That's Fanso, the tropical downbeat, but that was more Stoke Newington. Yes, not Tottenham, you know. But Fanso, the tropical downbeat, that Robert Ribs used to follow as a little youth. You know what I mean? But the Stokey sound and so. But specifically, those sounds that I'm talking about, you know, Sir D's, Fat Man, Cone Shelley, definitely, you know, where Tottenham is concerned, those sounds name have to be called. And it is significant that Cowboy or Luther started out as Jamaite, as I said, later on Quadrophonic and so. And as a matter of fact, his radio station, SLR, Tottenham, world famous. That's the radio station that transmitted Muta Baruka, Cutting Edge, live for years. And people used to hear me on Muta, who was my schoolmate on Kingston Technical, talking regularly. And in fact, I have a show every Monday on SLR Radio, which is Cowboy's station. Yes, you know, from 5 to 9 every Monday. And not only did these sounds do great things in Tottenham, but outside, because a lot of people don't know, for example, that famous Maxim's Club, all of the sounds that played is Quadrophonic they played on. They never carried their sound there. They carried the records, dub plate, but they played the equipment, the sound, Quadrophonic. All of them, whether they're coming from Jamaica or whether they're based here, but Quadrophonic. So it shows the resilience and the importance of people and sound systems from Tottenham and Broadwater Farm, because remember too that Cowboy used to have business place right here on the farm. Fat Man himself used to have his storehouse here to base right here in the farm also. You know, a lot of the Jamaican artists, when they came from Jamaica, a lot of them lived in Broadwater Farm.
Yeah, Prince Lincoln.
You know, yes, of course. That's the leader of the Royal Races, my brethren. You know,
you used to have the fish shop on West Green Road.
Yes, exactly, my brethren. And one of the Philip Fraser
Yes.
the singer, used to live in Broadwater Farm when he came here and, live. That's Whoopi and his brother. They are brothers, Yes. Philip Fraser, because their father is Phillips. They have the same father. And their father is a famous Sparky, one of Jamaica's greatest dancers, who used to dance as a duo, Sparky and Pluggy. And then, with respect to the Oswald brothers, who are Philip Fraser's brothers, remember on the high road, Black Vision,
Yes, somebody
that
mentioned
used
as
to
well,
go
yeah.
around and video things, and their radio station, Eurojam, in the 80s. So, Tottenham has a lot to be proud about. One of Jamaica's greatest record producers, to my brethren, the late Bertram Brown, Freedom Sounds. He used to live in Broadwater Farm, because when he came here to spend a lot of months and so, because that's how I linked up with him here, because we are brethren from Jamaica, is that he was staying with a relative who lived on the estate here. So, Gene Rondo, you name it. Once you're in reggae music, Tottenham, which of course includes Broadwater Farm, is a place that you have to be. There's no two ways about it. And in terms of venues, Club Norwich was one of the places where I used to go regularly. You have the famous Lyola Hall, out by side South Tottenham there.
Which
where a
was
lot of sound systems used to play. My cousin Honey Boy, who also used to live in Tottenham too. And Shy Effects is his son.
Shy Effects, I didn't see
Yes,
I didn't know that at
Jungle.
all.
Yeah, Shy Effects is my cousin Honey Boy's son. Because Shelley's daughter, stepdaughter, is Shy Effects' mother. You see?
We're all learning, man.
Yeah, yes. So I remember too, there was a clash dance with Count Shelley and some other sound at Lyola Hall. And you remember this tune by the Pioneers, Feeling High? So right. It was the flip side of Papa Was a Rolling Stone that was done in reggae by the Pioneers, so Joe Gibbs label. But the hit, really, they made Papa Was a Rolling Stone as the A side. But what really became the A side was the Feeling High with George Decker. And what happened is that Tapazuki, who was fresh from Jamaica in the 70s, he and Honey Boy at a studio in the West End, I think it's Berry Street. They did a dub plate. They recorded it and do a combination and bring it to Shelley, who was playing this sound at Lyola Hall. I don't remember the name of the sound. And use that and kill that sound that night at Lyola Hall. Because with sound system business,
Sound clash.
We are all friends before the clash. We are all friends after the clash. But they say during the clash, it's straight murder. No friending. No mercy. Before and after, friends. But you see, when it's sound clash, it's strictly war. Every man or every woman, and you're on your own.
We're going to go into some of that sound clash. I know Navi's got plenty of stories, but as we talk about the torch and the legacy and how it continues, so as younger people, what happens now in Tottenham? Where are the places you go and what artists are big now? And you can just kind of...
So myself, I set up my business in Tottenham in 2015. So at this time, it was post riots and a lot of regeneration. So there was a lot of new venues. And there's a venue called 639. I think it used to be a job centre or the council's office. And at the time that I moved in there, it was like a business enterprise centre. So that's a place where I set up the record shop, met a lot of other entrepreneurs, business owners, and there were a few other organisations. There's a studio complex called 1087, so it's a place where you can record music. I've set up events there. I've also performed at the Post Bar, which is on Tottenham High Road.
Yeah, another one.
And there was another venue called 5 Miles. It was around Markfield.
That was the one that's It's Moco's now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes,
like
yeah.
those places, like I've been able to do lots of like community events as well as perform there. So at the time I moved into Tottenham, I've always seen it as a great place for entrepreneurship, is where I've met a lot of other business owners. It was really inspiring from that aspect. And also a big like creative scene, like where Markfield Road is, there's a lot of artists, creatives, even on Tottenham High Road, a lot of entrepreneurs within 639, which is now Trampery Tottenham. Next door is Gina's, and she's been there for a very, very long time. So for me, it was really inspiring to be in a place where I was able to perform as an artist, but as well as network with a lot of creatives, business owners, and also run the record shop. I feel like Tottenham played a key role in even being able to set up something like the record shop, because at the time, like I was really struggling to find a space where I could basically facilitate all of my ideas. It was like a pop-up recording studio for young artists to make music. And at the time, it was something that I envisioned myself, but I didn't quite know where something like this could be done. And I feel like Tottenham has played such a key role in enabling me to pursue like my business endeavors as well as like perform as an artist as well.
Great, and continue the legacy, Mary. Great, and continue the
Listen,
legacy.
I don't want to forget this. One of the most important venues, not just in Tottenham, but for the country, where people used to come from Birmingham, wherever. We can't forget Mr. Daly's Shady Grove by
Oh, around the
Bruce
corner.
Grove.
Yes, yes, yes.
Famous people used to come from all over to the Shady Grove, run by Mr. Daly for years, you know, and it's a place that I used to go regularly. We also have to remember that when Count Shelley moved his office from Stoke Newington and transformed with that which was a dump by Seven Sisters Station. It was a dump, but Count Shelley was a master mason and decorator. And he transformed that building and made it ultra modern, the best reggae looking record shop at the corner there at Seven Sisters. Count Shelley's handiwork.
Third world.
You know, third world it
Yes,
was.
yes.
And then later on when he left to go to States, he left it to Fitzroy
the body
Sterling,
music.
my
Oh, yeah,
brethren,
yeah.
who changed to body music. But Fitzroy coming through Count Shelley because he was with him at Stoke Newington as Honey Boy, Ronnie Bop and others used to be to Ginger Williams and all of these people. So, you know, Tottenham has so much contribution and that type of thing. And Tottenham has done it before,
I'm gonna do
and
it
we'll
again.
do it again.
Still doing it.
Exactly.
Mary and Shock are going to lead that one. You know what I mean?
Just to also to kind of reiterate and back up what Mandingo was saying and what Classwood has been saying, there was also a network of schools, church halls, community centers, social halls that we used to play, youth centers that we used to play in every single week. You had RZ down in Roslin Road. You had Trojan down on Broad Lane. You had the farm here had the place. You had Stanley Road. You had Ida Road. Everywhere, places down Triangle, down Lumumba, Trades Hall. Like, remember Palm Tree up the top of the Upper Edmonton, there,
yeah,
almost
Edmonton.
on the border of Edmonton. There was so many places, and literally these places were breeding grounds for talent. Everybody
Yes.
used to go in there just to try to get on the microphone, or to come there with their dub plate, as the big man would say, Mandigo, or to come there and try and twiddle a knob or throw a tune. You know, this was what it was, because sound system culture was what trap or what drill or what jungle or what grime is. It was embedded in UK culture. It came here from Jamaica. There's no other culture that has influenced MCing, DJing, selecting. There's no other culture that's influenced it like that. It all comes right from there. And Tottenham, as you said, Mandingo, is such an instrumental part in everything. You know, you had Halls and you got Brixton, you got those, because we used to go to those areas as well. The network was everywhere. You know, you went to Peckham. When you get onto a big sound system like Fat Man or Unity, they're playing nationwide. I was going nationwide from I was 17, 18. I was playing Liverpool, Birmingham, Manchester, Derby. Yeah, we'd play near St Albans, Luton, Watford. Yeah, all of these areas. Everybody had their community centre, social centre, whatever, and sound system would be running in there. So, you know, but obviously we're talking about Tottenham, but that's where we literally, that was the springboard, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
And can I just say as well, you know, the beauty of tapping onto what the both of you are saying, the beauty of it all was it actually benefited in terms of employment and everything, because all the circuit that Navigator is talking about, we all wanted to work, get our tailor cuts made, and get to the dance. And it was from Thursday down to Sunday. And sometimes we used to meet at Bruce Castle Park to cool out at 8 o'clock. We all used to gather there. And then when Pickett's Lock opened, everybody used to meet up there as the cool down process. But everybody wanted to get their tailor cut. Sometimes the queue in South Tottenham there was long on a Friday night, waiting for your tailor cuts to be made and this, that, and the other. But you wanted to go to work, get your money, and get it done. Whereas it's a little bit different now, and because a lot of that activity doesn't go on now. A lot of the young people, and I mean, these are young people who might have a different opinion, don't seem to be enjoying the raving scene. And again, the reason why I say that, some girls came here for a meeting with me one day, young girls, about 15, 16, 17, and they said, you know what, we got nowhere to go. There's no parties, no nothing. Could you do something for us and supervise it and all this and the other? And, you know, and I thought, let me ask some of the boys, and actually there is nowhere.
There isn't.
Yeah, but
there actually is nowhere.
Glassford, not to cut you, but I'll tell you what's happened here. And this is something that happens to me every time I go to a night or a funeral. I see my community again. I look around the whole place and I can see everybody that I knew from back in the day. We don't have a community anymore. You know where the community is now?
The internet.
This is where your community is, social media. So that's why, like Mandingo said, it is important that we have these meetings, because we can take you back to the community that we grew up in. And that community was literally based around sound system.
Yeah, and the messages that you lots put out there as well was positive.
Yes.
Yes, I'm not gonna forget this. The importance of sound systems is that it unified the community. For example, because of sound systems, you never had this so-called stupid postcode war thing.
100%.
Simple reason. Because if a youth from one area wants to go to another area, likes a girl from that area and vice versa and that type of thing, it was never in their interest to be having any hostile situation, because you would be kept in and not be able to move. But because you were going to these dances all over the country, people from Brixton coming to dances to Tottenham, from Halsden to Tottenham, from Tottenham to Brixton, to Balham, to Birmingham, to Manchester. So you see, because of those movements, but what happened is that when Margaret Thatcher came with this clampdown with the community centres, which used to be a place that things used to happen to, right? And also that noise business, environmental thing, then a lot of sounds that used to exist never had anywhere to play and that type of thing. And that definitely had a negative effect. And that glue that we had with sound systems, providing venues for our people to come and meet together, you know, we lost a lot of that. But we have to try by any means necessary to bring this forward. As you were saying, a lot of times, no, most of the times when we meet as a community, funerals are 9 nights. Well, we want to be having the same kind of things, but not because of funerals are 9 nights. We want to have that old time coming together like what we used to have. Because I definitely know, I'm not asking, that when you used to have the sound systems playing all over, youth from all over would move in all areas and you wouldn't be saying, oh, where I'm come from. You never had that kind of hostility because it was a togetherness and thing, you know. So it's us who are here now, and this is why I said this can't be a one-off meeting. We have to work to make this unity come around again, because we did have it, and I explained what shattered that type of thing in terms of political fragmentation, you know, the policies and that type of thing.
Well said, Mandingo, well said. So continuing on that, because you were, so like, we like Heady One and Wretch 32 and people that you mentioned. So in my day, I'd listen to Navigator, and this day you listen to those. Where would you go hear them? Where would they be performing?
Where would they be performing now? It's more venues like maybe like the O2.
So like, you know, like we have church or local place that we used to go to dances. So nowadays there is nothing like that community-wise.
No. Community-wise, there's nothing like that. Nothing like that. In fact, most of my best parties was actually in here. When I think about it, most of my best parties, I snuck into a few in here. There was a guy called George, class will know George. There was a guy called George, and he used to throw the craziest parties here. This room, that's why I said I haven't been in here over 15 years, because the last time I really came in here was for those parties. So most of my parties that I remember was like in here. They used to have crazy parties in here. I remember the dress codes, the Machino and the Mosh all over, Versace. I still remember the dress codes, but we don't have none of that. The culture's been removed. There's people still trying to, you know, keep it alive, but this generation doesn't know any of that. And they need it, because like those parties that I'm talking about was character developing. You know, being able to approach a girl in person and try get a wine. Do you know what I mean? And then getting rejected. Like you go home and you're laying in your bed thinking, oh my God, I took 10 minutes before I got the courage to go talk to her, and that's what happened. And then like the next time you go again. We don't have that now. That's why there's a lot of social anxiety, because we're not having a lot of social experiences in real life. Whereas like the community like was literally teaching us lessons without knowing it. Like what I just mentioned about asking a girl for a wine, or like them times you had to ask someone for their number. It wasn't WhatsApp or Instagram. It was the 07. So when she starts saying the number, you're happy. Because you're like, yo, do you know what I mean? Like you just got the number. Like it was number, and like there was so much lessons it taught us.
So you're lucky. In my day, and the girl give you a wrong number. You didn't have no mobiles. So you might, and you go home, you ring it, and it's like a cab number or something. So yeah. At least you can see it happening live.
Yeah.
And she go, ding, yeah, all right. Yeah, I know it's you, sort of thing. Yeah.
What you mentioned about youth clubs, that was important. Like first time I met Chip was in a youth club. It was in Finsbury Park. There was a youth club called Laundry Club. I don't know if anyone remember that, but there was a youth club called Laundry. There was another one called The Hub in Northumberland Park.
Does anyone know that? You guys know that?
Yes.
No.
There was one called The Hub in Northumberland Park. That's where I met Chip for the first time. We all met up at like youth clubs, and Little Sims was started in. All these people now that's killing it. Like we learned our skills from like there. So by the time we got to radio stations like Radio 1 and you got that polished mic, we was ready. Yeah. Whereas like this generation starts on Radio 1. So they don't even appreciate being in the... I remember when I first went into the BBC One Extra building, because I was listening to it for so long on radio, when I went there, I had to like snap out of it and be like, yo, you're here now. Whereas this generation, they start, where they go to promote their song is there. So they don't even know the whole journey it took to even get there. So
crazy you should say Radio 1, because I used to present a show called One in the Jungle on Radio 1 back in the late 90s, yeah? And while we were doing that, it was kind of conflicting with the mainstream programming, because they were like, oh, this music is all over the place. It's not regulated in a certain way, because you know they have a certain where they squash all squash all the frequencies, so that when on a national radio, all of the music has to be at a certain frequency, so that it all sounds the same sound.
So you can't add a little BS.
You can't do none of that. So when we went on there as junglists and started playing this jungle music, you know, white label, test press and all of this, the music's all over the place. We're on the mic, like literally shouting down the mic because we come from sound system culture. And another thing, when you were talking about the pirate radio stations, I was so glad when you said that, because a lot of people think that the pirate radio thing came from the rave scene. No, it didn't. It came right from where Mandingo said, you know, people like Cowboy, Luther, people like Oswald Brothers, them Eurojam, SLR, RJR. I remember when that started, because there was a time back in the late part of the sound system era when it kind of came away from the venues and people started buying like wine bars and stuff like that. So, and you'd have the radio station, the DJ play the music all week on the radio station, the people is working, and then when weekend come, you'll go to that radio station's function in whatever club. Do you understand where I'm coming from? So, and then I was right there when they made One Extra for that genre of music, like literally jungle. I can remember taking equipment with Wilberforce, who was my producer. I remember taking equipment from the building, the main building where it is now, around the corner to Yaldin House, because that's where One Extra used to be at that time. Do you understand me? So, mate, when I think about that, and how I got into Radio 1. And then when I see you guys up there, do you know what I mean? Wretch 32 is right from here, man.
Yeah. Jermaine, yes.
Right? You understand me? And his father and his uncle.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Yes. So we watch them kids grow up, and then to see them all go off and do what they're doing is just crazy. But obviously, Chipmunk,
Skepta.
all of them, man, And then even before all of that, you had the Rebel MC.
Yes.
You had Demon Boys.
Yes. I just saw a picture of them. Someone brought their picture back. They took a picture on the top of you know that picture where they're all around the car?
I think it's on Kenley here.
Yeah, around there. Someone literally posted that picture.
Somebody brought one.
Is it there?
No, somebody brought one of the LP covers down from upstairs down there. So I think, is that the one? Okay, that's the one. That's the one. And you also have the Syndicate. They weren't from the farm, but they were from Tottenham as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing, you know why? Because Mandingo's obviously way before me. Classed's way before me. I've been on the microphone for 45 years, brethren.
That's
45 years.
Wow.
I started chatting in 1979.
Round of applause for that.
I just did one of the biggest festivals in UK called Boomtown at the weekend. I got requested by DJs for 4 sets. I was in a whirl up there. Some videographer just came out of nowhere and was like, Navi, I'm coming to come film it because it's going to be epic. Didn't even charge me a penny. And I laid on my bed on Monday after that whole thing, and I was like, what the hell just happened? It's so amazing to see all of these generations of people. And now you're saying, where'd you go nowadays? Oh, I go to the O2 Arena. Why? Because they're superstars,
yeah, it's
man.
true.
You can fill a venue of how many people fits in O2?
20K, 20,000. Yeah, 20,000.
Well, we started off in a room smaller than this.
I just went to see Burna Boy did anyone go to that at Tottenham Stadium?
When was that?
That was last month.
Okay.
Tottenham Stadium, 60,000.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Still in Tottenham. Still going on with this thing.
To come from a school around there to 60,000 people is mad.
Yeah, that's one thing I do like about this, about the new generation, is that the way they dream and see things is like completely different. Do you know what I mean? There's a kid at home now saying, yeah, my show is going to be at the Tottenham. I mean, at the O2 Arena. That's where he's. Do you know what I mean? So like, it's a whole different level.
From what you're saying, and it's like to set a new norm.
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say.
People would be dreaming about going to Radio 1.
Yeah.
But your generation, right? It's standard.
Yeah, that's the standard.
So
I remember even getting 1 million views at a point was like a big thing. Now it's like they start at 1 million views.
You know, the only contact, the only thing that I would say is you see in nowadays, the contact was vital. You know what I mean? So it's okay having 60,000, but then when you've left, you're on your own. We were never on our own.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
We'd talk the next day, communicate the next day, do everything the next day. We all knew each other, north, south, east, and west.
Came right back here.
Whereas now, the as you're saying, you know, you go online to 60,000 and then you leave the stadium and then, you know, and going by when you had your thing at Muswell Hill.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
It puts you in a zone of alone.
Yeah.
You know, until you now come back into another stadium.
Yeah.
So that community friendship is not there. I mean, I'm not speaking for you guys as young people.
It's true,
I'm
though.
just saying that's what I notice.
Yeah.
Whereas we, whether you're an artist or not, we all mixed and blend together.
You know what, Clasford? The thing, our social media was cassette tapes.
Yeah.
That was our social media. You get a dance and you go home and you got your double cassette deck and you rub it off.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you rub off 10.
Yeah.
And you just go and
you
give
trade
it out.
You trade it with people.
That was how we used to network back in the day, you know. That was also a beautiful part of the whole culture. How did I get into actually chatting on sound system? I used to listen to Jamaican Yard tapes and literally copy the MC on the mic word for word and the tone of his voice. And that's how I learned patois and learned how to pitch my voice into the microphone, listening to them man on cassette tapes.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's evolved into where you are now.
And that's what I mean. That training is not that training that's a training.
Yeah, that was our apprenticeship.
Exactly. This generation, there's a show I went to, I wouldn't say no one's names, but even how they was holding the microphone, even how there was their PA, the backing tracks got their vocals on it. They just don't have that. But the audience don't care though. They just.
But
they
do you
just
know,
love it.
like what I would say about this new generation, I feel like we still desire and need like the community vibe and spirit. And because of that, you get a lot of like individuals that have taken it upon themselves to set up initiatives.
Yes.
So it's like, if you can't go somewhere, then let's find a venue, let's set it up ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's hard, you start from scratch, but I think that you get a lot of this like entrepreneurial mindset that as a young musician, you have to have that, because it's so hard. Like if you aren't able to get to the O2 Arena, it's like, where do you go? So you just like take it upon yourself to set up your own initiative and like do things independently. And a lot of people have been successful with doing that as well.
And another thing I realized too is that there actually is communities, but it's just on social media. But there will be like a community.
What's that group?
There'll be like a community called Sound System Community.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
that's
mean?
true.
If you type Sound System Community, there's probably like a bunch of them,
Yeah.
and they will have all pictures and. Do you know what I mean? But it's just not like in person like this. But I think people need to come out to events like this because it does something to you. Do you know what I mean?
The
There's something-
physical interaction.
The physical interaction actually
is
does
what you
something
need.
to you.
Yeah, and again, as we were saying about what we had at hand, all the centres that we had at hand to play music and that social gathering, you knew everybody, whether north, south, east and west. Now, again, going back to my discussion with these young ladies, and I thought to myself, back in our day, right, I could easily say to my sisters, go there, go there, go there. Where would I send my 17-year-old granddaughter to go and have a nice raving evening? It's a hostile environment out there. You understand what I'm saying? Because most of the places are closed down, and it's the odd little thing on illegal street raves and this, that, and the other. Somewhere where you would not want to send your kids, male or female. Anyway, you understand what I'm saying? And somehow we have to bring that back, because we know in our days that gathering it made unity.
Yes.
But this is why I said that we did it in the past, and what is for us to do that same type of thing. We have to create. We can't expect others to do what we need to do for ourselves. There's no substitute for that. It's self-reliance, as Marcus Garvey said.
Facts,
You know? We have to do for ourselves, because complaining is never any solution.
Yeah.
It's about doing. We know what is to be done. We have to work with those who are like-minded to achieve what we want, because the sky is the limit.
Yeah. And it's happening. We're here.
Yes, precisely. And that's why I said this should not be a one-off, because we need regular things like that, because it keeps things going. So you don't start and then that's it. You know, you keep things in motion. And this is how you build and you learn from your mistakes and you fine tune and that type of thing.
Jade, I see you got your hand up. Do you want to say something?
Thank you so much. It's been really interesting. I had 2 questions. So one of them was to Mary, because these lot have been talking about how they've used each other as role models and templates, and I wondered about what sort of templates you had, I guess specifically as a woman in music. And then the second question, it takes a bit more explanation, but I guess I have been working in museums and heritage, so I'm like really obsessed with remembering, and that's why it's been so nice tonight. But also like working in art, doing art workshops, I realize just talking as well isn't like the one only way that people need to learn. And for you guys, when I hear you talking about the venues, it's so alive, like it's alive to you, but sometimes like it might fall on people's ears like, oh, it's just names. So like, what do you suggest in terms of like ways to make a different possibility like imaginable, and like make it alive for people who haven't been there?
Yeah, so just to start, like, I've always loved music, like from when I was younger, and definitely I'd say in my personal experience, it was definitely lacking like a lot of community. There wasn't many people that I knew, so making music was kind of my own individual journey. I was definitely inspired by TV, the internet. I was exposed to like a wide range of genres, but that sort of in-person interaction, like having people that I could like freestyle with, that didn't happen until like further down the line. But because of my experience of kind of doing music as an individual, and it wasn't until I got involved in like the Roundhouse, they had like a youth project where I met other young people that were into music. I was able to build my confidence on stage, and going through that program, that also inspired me to set up the record shop. So through my own personal experience as a young person making music, more specifically a woman making music, hip hop music, I know that how like isolating it can be. So I just feel like it reinforced in me the importance of setting up a space where other young people could meet someone that was into music as well, create music, even if you come as an individual, as a meeting space where you can build your own community. And I feel definitely with the record shop, that's what we've been able to achieve. So yeah, it's something that I feel like with this generation, going back to the use of like technology, social anxiety, you can see like how important it is to recreate these spaces and just like give people the sense of community. Like even though you're able to do things as an individual, there's always the benefits of being around other people, being inspired, and just like building a bigger community, connecting with others as well.
Thank you. That's amazing what you do. And I feel like it's again about like imagination. When you can see something, then it expands your imagination.
Absolutely.
The mic's there. Does anybody want to ask any questions?
Wait, I had the second question. Did anyone? The one I asked about, like, how do you make the spaces more alive, like, for us to understand if you haven't been there?
I think, how would you like recreate that? Would you then go and get a room and take something like what Mark's got, an antique sound, set it up in there so that people can feel the energy of what a sound system look like, set up in a room with an amp case there and all the equipment set up, different sections of speakers. You've got a record box there with 7-inch records in there and, you know, pre-release stuff, 10-inch stuff, dub plates and stuff like that. But could you actually throw back? I don't know. We'd have to come out in retro clothes. We'd have to have that whole energy for people to actually realize that. Maybe, yeah, definitely. Like, you know, Fur Kangol was my thing, definitely, you know. And when it got into the mid to late 80s, we had the click suits and stuff like that. So there was always changing fashions, because in Mandingo and Classford's day, it was, you know, the brogues and the you know, that type of an attire. And then after it went to the Gabici and the Cecil G and the Farah slacks, mohair. I was like, people took fashion seriously as well. So I don't know how you would actually recreate that, but in our minds we can see, and there is a lot of footage online. If you go in and look, there is a lot of footage online, and you will see. I'll tell you one film to watch. Do you know have you heard of a film called Babylon? No? Have you heard of a film called Rockers? No? Have you heard of a film called The Harder They Come? Those three movies are literally like the Bible of how it was back then. You watch their movies there, you just feel goosebumps come over you, because that's exactly how it was. They really made those, Smile Orange, but that was not as, it was more of a comedy kind of thing. I'm talking about sound system culture, way how we used to dress. Rasta culture was very big in the 70s. Like before that, like my father as a Jamaican, I could not bring no red, gold and green in the house. Are you mad? Are you mad? I couldn't play Bob Marley in my house. Rasta man a dirty boy. Rasta man a bag of wire. Them no wash. Them they a tramp. Me no want my son turning on a tramp. Me no want look for the man dirty here. You know wash it. You understand, yeah? So that made me want to go there and see who that was. And then with me being mixed race, my mother's English, my father's Jamaican, who was my biggest influence? Bob Marley, because he was a mixed race man, but he was the king of reggae. You think anybody could talk to me after that, telling me about, oh, you're not this, you're not that. Yeah, listen, man, Bob Marley are the king of reggae. Right? You understand me? And he was a Rasta man. So that intrigued me. What is this? And what was he singing? Songs of love, freedom. And, you know, reggae music in general. If you really want to talk about how do you create the vision, reggae music was conscious, cultural music with a message of freedom from oppression. If I've lived in Jamaica, I know what Jamaica is. It's not an easy life, and it's got worse now than it was then. But, you know, you're coming from a poor third world country. Some of those people didn't have a shower in their house. They wash under a hose pipe in a garden. Yeah? And I've done that. I've lived that life. So when I heard reggae music in the 70s, and you heard Bob Marley and the Wailers, and you heard all of those groups, I won't go into it because, you know, the list is long, and I'm sure Mandingo will know about even how those musics were even recorded. But this is the essence of the feeling, of the vision. Imagine you're freeing yourself from captivity, from restriction, from bondage. The 70s up here. There was race riots. In the 80s, there was race riots. You know what happened on the farm here? And it was all because we're getting a bit too up there. They don't want to keep everybody suppressed and down. So we come from these communities. And we have to defend ourselves. This estate has got a very big history in opposition to the police. You know, they're still killing our people off of the back of what happened to Blakelock. But they don't talk about Cynthia Jarrett, right? They don't talk about what actually sparked all of that. And we were here living our lives on Broadwater Farm, keeping dances in the social club underneath Tangemere. We had the community centre up there. We had the school over there. And we was always doing stuff. And then in the summer, we'd be out here doing an all-dayer in the rec. Yeah? That is how, you know, we were living. For us to recreate that, I don't know how we would do it. But I can tell you that those times were very special, and they were created from a sound system perspective and reggae music perspective, and it was about freedom. I'm telling you, when I used to be on the mic, Mary and Shocker, back in the day, and I'm chatting in that mic, I just could feel the release coming out of me, all your anxiety, and then you write lyrics on top of that, because now you're writing about what community you're living in. You know, and what you're seeing, they used to call Tenafly the reporter, man. He was a Brixton MC, you know, because he was be badness in the inner city. Everywhere you get up, it's a different cry. Come on, like you literally, because it was that. You know what I'm saying? Like it really was some poignant times, man, and very important.
Yes, and there's really hope where that is concerned too, because following on from movies like The Harder They Come, and the others that he mentioned. Later on, you have Third World Cup. Check that out, Third World Cup, which was put out by Palm Pictures and that type of thing. And take Chronics, for example. When Chronics, just a few years ago, drew large crowds wherever he performed. I remember by that Alexandra Palace. Yes, thousands of people and so on. So, of all ages. So, the music still has that effect to pull people together. So, it's for us to keep on putting on these things at venues, you know. So, it's not anything impossible. Because the people want it. Because if they didn't want it, those shows, when advertised, would have flopped. Look at what they call City Splash or what they have at Milton Keynes. Thousands of people. Thousands of people. So the constituency is there. So it's for us not to be pessimistic. It's to just do what we have to do and keep on putting on these things and so on, you know. Definitely. It's real.
I went to City Splash. That was amazing. I saw Sister Nancy there.
Now that's crazy, right? Because everybody knows Bam Bam. I work with a jungle outfit called Jungle Cakes, and they do all these remixes. I'm in parties. Like, how old is Bam Bam?
It's from in the late 70s. Bam Bam.
Right? And Bam and Sister Nancy is actually the sister of Brigadier
Jerry, yes.
So Brigadier Jerry is somebody that we all like. He's one of the original guys on the mic from Jamaica.
That's crazy.
Which I love sound. Like, so, you know, and there was guys before that, U-Roy and all of these guys, King Sturga. But when Brigadier Jerry and people like Josie Whale and Charlie Chaplin, that's my generation of you know, like veteran MCs that I live. And Sister Nancy is Brigadier Jerry's sister. And it's only the one tune she ever really do. And it's just like forever. It's like General Levy, incredible. It's just forever, you know. And everybody knows it, you know. So I know the power of the music because when you go to a dance, you put on Bob Marley One Love and I bet you a 4-year-old would be singing it. This music is still current. It's still here, relevant.
That's really beautiful, thanks. Oh, I was asked to plug about a sound system event in Lordship Rec that's run by Felt. So that's on Saturday. So that's right here. Yeah, so nice. Local sound, and they've got loads of different music genres, free food. So like to all their attendees.
Nice.
It's back there on Saturday. And it's also coming up to 7:30. So I feel like other people haven't asked questions, but should we do like, should we do two more questions, 3 more questions? Okay.
Yeah, this is probably a bit of an unusual question, but you've mentioned Radio 1 and Radio 1 Extra. I mean, in my mind, those two stations have lost the younger generation already. Am I correct in that, or am I incorrect in that?
I think you might be correct. Not completely lost them, but they don't have their attention as much as they did a few years ago. I think the younger generation are more on like playlists on Spotify, and that's the new radio now.
The only thing is BBC introducing, that's linked to Radio 1. So
but even that, I don't think they would aspire to be on BBC introducing.
It's true.
If I said to a kid now, I can get you on BBC introducing, or I can get you on the biggest playlist on Spotify, what one are they going for?
Spotify playlist.
Which is crazy. So that's where we are at.
You see, I've always had my objections to BBC Radio 1 because they have always fought against reggae music, telling it straight like it is. I mean, back in the days when reggae music used to come through on top of the pops and charts, it's just because of the sheer strength of the music and so on. But they deliberately used to fight down to try to prevent reggae music being playlisted to get regular play. I know this as a record producer and as a journalist myself. You know, you give them, they say it's a level playing field, but it's a lie. You know, it's a whole corrupt, payola and racist system telling it just like it is. Yeah. And Radio 1 Extra, I'm not really into it because it's a segregation type of thing in terms of age. Because if you look at how they advertise, they say they are catering for 15 years old to 30. So what about people who are younger than 15 and people who are over 30? Music is music. And music must appeal to all ages. and that type of thing. So this Radio 1 Extra thing, where they themselves, not I the Mandingo saying that, you read their promotion thing, that it was specifically set up to target 15 to 30 years old and to play R&B and urban music. This stupid phrase about urban music. Urban means it's not rural. Music is music, whether you're in an urban setting, suburban setting, or a rural setting. So what kind of crap is that about urban? Urban what? Music is for people. Music is not for urban. Music is for people. So and when you read them about, oh, it's urban and it's for 15 to 30-year-old and it's R&B and that type of thing. This is a lot of nonsense and thing, and no wonder a lot of the youths and so go elsewhere because they are not getting what they really need, spiritually speaking, in terms of music. Not church business, but you know what I'm saying. Okay? For real.
And I just wanted to add to that what you said about they're not getting what they need. The reason why I agree with that is because music, stations like Radio 1 and 1 Extra used to be very innovative. They used to break new songs. If you wanted to hear your new artist or know what's going on, you'll go to Radio 1 and 1 Extra. Now, it's like controlled. So they just wait to find out. They wait to find out what's going on in the streets and then they play it. So people are just going to the streets instead of going there. So they go to the playlist to get what's really going on. On radio, they play the same songs over and over, and the whole day you hear the same song 5 times in that day. So it's not special anymore. Before, a DJ like Tim Westwood, he gave everyone an opportunity and used to, play what was going on. Now, it's the same song. They've got a system of songs that you can play. For a DJ to break a new song now, it's like a risk on his career. Because if he was to take a song and say, I'm really feeling this song, I want to play it from this new artist, his boss is going to call him the next day and say, that wasn't in part of the program. So now radio's kind of like, it's watered down a bit. And
it's corruption in terms of the music thing, because remember, I'm a record producer also, right? In that people who come with the new music, whenever your music is played, you get royalties based on your music being played. So when your music is denied being played, they're stopping you from earning. So it's a certain clique that they are allowing to be earning, while the vast majority who come in with new music not being able to earn because their thing isn't being played. So they're not getting their money through PRS, which is, and they have the equivalents in other countries and that type of thing.
Again, to you, sir, about Radio 1 and 1 Extra, I really feel that the format of music changing from physical into digital had a big influence on the way how music is marketed and how it's played. And now we've gone from a 7-inch piece of vinyl to a CD to an MP3. Now we're just streaming. So even if you have 1 million streams, you're not earning that money. Back in the day, your outlay on a record would be maybe, let's say in the late 80s, early 90s, £2 to press a piece of vinyl. Your markup is about £7-8, so you're making £6 per unit. Do you know how much you make for one stream? It's like 0.00037.
Yeah.
Precisely.
So how many streams do you have to get a pound?
Yeah.
It's nuts. Do you know how much it costs to go into a studio and record the track, get it mixed down, get it mastered, make the artwork? Maybe you're going to make a little visual. You might have a guy come and do this, that for you. The phone calls, how do you fed the people? This all comes into how much you spend on making that piece of product, right? Nowadays, online or on social media, we are actually called content creators. No, I'm not having it. My music is art. But at the same time, I know I have to be a content creator to be relevant. Do you see where the whole mix-up is coming here? And then the children that are coming up, they don't know it no different. We know where it all came from. You understand me? So when we're looking at it, we're seeing it from a perspective of, I used to sell a record and make £5 per copy. These kids are looking at it as, why? I got to get my thing streamed 50 billion times, yeah? And then I'm going to make this amount of money. I could go buy my Bentley and thing. You see the difference in the mentality? And as Mandingo said, the business is very corrupt. And it is a lot of payola. And it all goes hand in glove with the record companies, the radio stations, the TV. It's all hand in glove. So it's a club.
As I can tell you,
we're not in the club.
Yeah, the iTunes and the Spotify and all of that type of thing, big ripoff. The money that you have to spend to make music, you're not getting the returns. And this guy, Steve Jobs, started it with the iTunes thing, and then others have followed and so. And you say, you're getting millions of views and this and that, and you're not earning anything. You're not earning anything. You have to be depending on live shows to earn anything and that type of thing. It's rough and tough, and this has put off a lot of people, musicians and producers, from making music, because you're throwing away money and you're not making anything. And if especially you have families, how you gonna provide? You know, this is so real. And you have parasites. These are parasites who they don't create music, but they're making the most money off music which is created.
And they're plagiarists. A lot of people, they just take that old thing, bam, bam. How many times has that been remixed? And they're still gonna carry on doing it. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is how the music is, because they know that that's popular, or people know that sound. Do you understand me? So you're always on the back foot, trying to see what's going on. It does create an atmosphere of, how do I survive? How do I do this? How do I keep going? Do you know what I'm saying? So if you're spending all this money to make the records and you're not getting nothing back in, actually the only way you can make money, proper money, is live, going and performing live. And in a minute, I'm not even in a minute. AI is here. AI is here.
You just took that out of me. I was about to come and say that they're using AI now to try to get rid of you earning from live performances.
Mm. Can I just butt in just a bit? But it's with the physicality of listening to music. So you've got the record shop now, but I'm looking at the older members and asking about the record shop experience, really. I know you mentioned body music, etc., but Dyke and Dryden,
I used to work there.
There you go. But they were record distributors, so and presumably had a shop, etc. But others, Derek Records, there was reggae specialists in Turnpike Lane, I understand. But is that where you got your records from?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes, from shops like, you had Jetstar Records, and so there are the shops all over the place. You had the equivalent in Birmingham, Manchester, and that type of thing. And those places serve not only as places to buy music, they were also community centers.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't just buying music. There were community centers. Whenever you wanted to meet people, get in touch with people, the record shops also serve that purpose as a community club all over the country.
And you could listen to the music in there.
Yes, exactly, at the same time.
And had the knowledge as well.
For a ram on a Friday night. Everybody's got their paycheck, because you used to get paid weekly them times there. Friday night, record shop, you're going in there, place is thick with ganja smoke, and people are drink, our music up, play, and it's just records passing over heads, and when you finish and you collect your thing, you pay your thing. When you walk out there, you pay for how much you got. But you don't go there and buy one record. You just go in there, you listen. Yeah, give me that. Yeah, I want that. And then there's only maybe 6 copies when it's coming in pre-release. You understand what I'm saying? This was definitely a breeding ground for the whole party thing.
And on that note, there were so many record shops. Like, as a record collector, you'd go everywhere. You're in West London, you go Peckins, you go Dub Vendor, go to the West Ends, you go Daddy Cool's.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, Hawkeye and Harlesden and Starlight across the road. I used to work in Daddy
You also have Webster's in Shepherd's Bush Market
as well. I think I've got I didn't get to put it up. I've got a map.
Regal Records
I've
as
got a
well
map
was
of
a
record
very
shops that are
important
still
one.
around. But we've got Zen's Records in Broad Lane, Tottenham now. But and as you're saying that, for those that didn't collect records, like a record will come out, and then different shops will get different tunes. But some will get some tunes before another. So if you wanted the latest, you might have to go to different shops. So there might a tune come out, there might be like 5 versions of it on the same rhythm. This shop will have 2, that shop will have, and they have to go all the way around all the different shops to get them. So it was like not now, people to go on Spotify and get it all, but the thing about getting records and on the same thing, there's an interview with Buju Banton speaking about vinyl. He's very passionate. He says a few words, but he's basically saying the same thing what the guys were saying here. Like, I'd make this record, I'd sell it for the $6, I get my money. Now it's in the cloud, I ain't getting nothing. He puts it in a different way, but yeah, that's
But what Buju said, I endorse fully, because it's something that I've been saying for years, and other people like me have been saying for years. Because there's this thing whereby, as if there's no value on music, you just get it for free, and nothing is for free. Everything has a price, you know. I mean, when musicians play music, when artists perform and so on, it's not just themselves. They have people who they have to help to take care of on that type of thing. You know, when you go to the supermarket or whatever, you have to go with money, whether in card form or cash form or whatever. So you need to be earning, you know. So I'm all for everything whereby people who make music, and I'm talking artists, writers, composers, producers, the whole network, that people should get paid because they are creating things of value. And to think that music, it has no value, you can just have it for nothing, you know? So you're not encouraging people to decide to create good music and that type of thing, because that isn't giving them any impetus or any vibes to do that, because you live in a real world where you have real bills and real issues to deal with. You know, it's no joke thing. And I'm totally serious about that, because I'm a person in the music business, as I said, as a record producer, show promoter, and everything is tied in and so on. And this is for real. This is not a joke matter. I'm very serious where that is concerned. And that is why I support what Buju said, because it's nothing new, but it's just that he's one of the latest who is saying the same thing.
On that note, record shops.
Well, just one quick one. There is, however, a market for vinyl. And especially in jungle music, there's definitely a market for vinyl. Why? Because people are collectors. They want to go back and collect that old music. So you find a lot of these old record labels now are actually pressing up 300 to 500 copies, and they sell out before you even actually press them, because there's a demand for it. And this is not. And then you've got younger guys who are coming up that love vinyl. They love sound system culture. I play regularly in Bristol. I play regularly all over the country in all different cities, and there is so many sound systems, and they sound so sweet. So, you know, this is definitely not dying. It's definitely there, and there is a market for these
There's
things.
a resurgence. There's a resurgence, and what we must do is encourage this resurgence, so that the people who create music are properly and adequately rewarded for their efforts.
Just saying, I didn't get to put it, I should have put it up before, but it's a list of record shops that are still about. You got Zen's Records there up top there. And earlier on you mentioned Derek's and in Palmer's Green, you got Allen's as well. So vinyl's still about, we're still buying. And I'm not stopped. Well, my wife's always complaining I'm buying too much record, but you can never have enough records, can you? Right, I see a hand up there. Very good done. Blessings, sir. Blessings, sir. You got the mic there? Hold on, Virgo, one sec. Rena, do you want to say something? Right, Virgo, you have to wait a little bit.
Okay, I'll be very quick. I have one suggestion. There is a massive skating community amongst the young people, and I think you need to merge what you're doing here amongst the skaters because they love music, and that's how you can start to re-educate or blend these two cultures together. Or you bring a skating community here, which is safe, practically free, and then you do the education around it. The second thing, which I don't think you can answer now, but for the next time you do this, I'd like to hear more about the women's voices in Tottenham and their contribution to sound. And the third thing is an ask of you. What are you guys going to commit to for this to happen again?
Well, you know me, we go back a long while working together, so I'm in it all the while. So, you know, I'm there. And I know that everybody else will be as well.
I'm in and out of the country, but wherever I can be here and, you know, you request my presence, I shall endeavour to do my best to be in attendance.
I mean, we have the community centre here, got the big hall there. We can bring some speakers and keep do dancing there. We have the amphitheatre out there as well, so there's no reason we are going to make it happen. All right. Everybody ready going behind us when it happens? All right, we'll make it happen. Right, Virgo. No, you ready?
Yeah, I'm stand up, you might not see me. All right, good evening, everybody. Just to take on from the point that the lady made here, she was saying about how can we bring this forward and how can we get people from the past, people now to enjoy what we did before. And not really rocket science, you know. Back in the day, we have music on the corner. You see what I say? And that's all we need to bring back. Music on the corner. A little youth, him not even know where them can DJ at night, but there's a microphone there and him just go chat some foolishness and hold on, him friend tell him, say, yo, that sound nice, you know. And him say, you know, so I feel like I want to make 2 more lyrics. You understand? Because like with me, I never had no intention of being an artist, but we had a shop. I grew up in Jamaica and we had a shop. Every Friday night, my mother used to have a little sound come play. Music on the corner. Simple. So me hold the mic and me dash 2 little lyrics when Echo did that. I don't know if it's Big John, Echo or Flux, but another one bite the dust. What? Next thing me know now, a man book me. The first time me get paid for DJ pan a sound was $3. 3 Jamaican dollar. Me and my friend got the dance. It could only pay 1 taxi fare go home. So we buy 1 bun and cheese and a box drink and we eat that and we walk home. You understand? So what me I say is, all right, reach England, reach from Broadwater Farm. Big up the man them, everybody know me from them time there. Yeah? The first day me land pan a Thursday night. My cousin named Carl Budan, the printer. Yeah? Him bring me go Willan Road. Fat Man and Quadraphonic a play. Music pan the corner. You see what I say? Every Thursday night, every Sunday night, music pan the corner. Yeah? So, you know, say, you have a 1 lyric and this and that. It's not about money. We never used to get paid. Music pan the corner. You know? And then everybody get involved in it now. Because your little friend I got there and your little brethren I got there and one girl where you like out there, one guy. You know, music pan the corner. So that is the energy. You understand? Because like most of us who are artists and involved in the sound system thing, we probably got wax lyrical about the sound system and the music. But it was really the community. That's what it was. Music pan the corner. So that's what we need to bring back. Music pan the corner. So if it mean, remember them days they were, class for how much Henry used to charge? Like £2? £2? Yeah, them kind of money there. That's all it was. It was just a thing. Music on the corner. It was just to make sure the lights stay on and whatever. Drinks was cheap. It's not like no way I'm gonna try to do it for money. It was just music on the corner. So that's what we need for bring back the community. Music on the corner. Just string up. Do you ever know if an artist will come? Just string up, start play some music. You understand? If every week an artist know, say every week there's going to be a sound system there. Guess what? Today me sit down and I'm come up with an idea in my head. You know the window connect to the door and the door connect to the ceiling. Here, I'm going to chat that this week. Music on the corner. It's as simple as that. So for the lady that was asking, that's how we need to bring it back. Find a way to get music on the corner. Not dance, it doesn't have to be an event. Just music on the corner. Yeah? Salute.
Salute, Virgo. Big up, big up. So when we string out on the corner, you know, I'm going to call you now. You have to DJ. Right, I'm looking at the time, and you know what? I've just realized so many genres we haven't touched. We can do much of the jungle when we talk about the sound clashes, but there will be a part 2 of this. Actually, Jade, there's going to be a part 2.
You want to say something short and sweet, you know?
Oh, go on, some of it.
Yeah, man, Busby, yeah? You see the thing now, yeah, my virgin, Virgo talks about the money and things. It's not even about the money thing in the car. You see me as an artist now. When me I hear about music and them thing there, my skin is like the hear them on the back of my neck stand up. You understand? I'm going to do anything for reach any which part the music there. You know what I'm saying? Worse, me's a people person. I love people and love to see when people happy. I just me that. Music is a thing where you can, when we say, interpret it your own way, especially if it's a thing where it's an instrumental or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's therapy. You know what I mean there? And yeah, short and sweet, me I say. Right now, live on music and never die, because right now it's the heartbeat of the world. You see me I say? I'll leave it as that.
Brother. Thank you.
Manners.
Countess Shelley.
Mark, I just wanted to say thank you so much for bringing everyone together. It's so inspiring hearing everything that you've said about particularly the community and how talent is grown, homegrown on Broadwater Farm. I feel so proud to be part of the process here and to have heard about all your history. It's so incredibly inspiring. And I wanted to also add, as part of this event, just a big shout out to Jade from South North CIC and Haringey Council's Promise Williams,
hey, friend,
from the Broadwater Farm team, to bring all of us together here to hear about all this and be inspired to put on another event. I really love the idea of doing this again, part 2.
Yep, I'm up for that.
Mark, you're leading.
All right.
Yeah. And I love the idea that brother here said about, no, it was you, sorry, about, just bring some music,
Music on the car. That's it. We got a name of the event.
We got the event.
What's happening there? Music on the corner.
Yeah, because it seems to me like what you guys shared was just this amazing love, and joy. And how you just kind of did it just because you just connected with one another.
We loved it.
Yeah, I can
Busby
feel
at
it.
the back there, Virgo over there. We all
You sound like
was
family.
on sound
You
system
sound like
together.
family, like, real.
100%.
Like when you're saying brethren, you really sound like your family. You connected with one another. And I really understand what you're saying, Shocker, about, maybe now it's more about social media, but what's missing is the community, the real life connection, face to face, feeling the vibes, feeling the vibrations and connecting with one another. And I really wish that we could do more of that. And we need to be able to make that happen for our younger generations so they understand what you guys all experienced in the 80s and 90s. Bring that back. Thank you so much.
Respect. I think,
Shelley.
Mary, I think what you've done is incredible, sitting here listening to your story, because, there's no community. And you've said to yourself, I'm going to go out there and network and build my own community. And I think this is one of the main problems in trying to make all of this stuff that we're talking about come back and happen, is that everything's on the phone now. Everything's digital and everything's social media. So we're going to have to go back to some of those old principles, like, rubbing off cassettes and going back out with cards. Because if you think about it now in terms of the digital world, your music is like a calling card now. It's not actually anything that has any value in terms of the way how the digital world works. And it's a nightmare. I've got a record label. I do all my own data, I do all the metadata, I do everything. I know how to put it together. I know what it... And when you start thinking about percentages, and then you're splitting a percentage of 0.00037 between 4 people. It's really, so, I think what you've done with so when you say the record shop, is that the name of the project, or do you actually have a record shop?
Yeah, so it's called The Record Shop, and that came from just the concept of recording studio in a shop. So previously, as I mentioned, I was in 639, and I always envisioned like a place that was accessible. It would have windows, so it would be visible. And the whole idea is for like a young person just walking down the street, see like a microphone set up, can pop in, record a song.
Music on the corner.
Exactly. And and then leave with like an MP3 at the end of the session. So yeah, it's called The Record Shop, but it's about a safe space for young people to come and create music. We do now sell vinyls because I'm based in the mall in Wood Green, so it was just kind of helping us expand. So we sell vinyls, it's available for hire, so we have people hosting their own like events, birthday parties. So it's a social enterprise. Our free aspect is the free studio time, music workshops, performance opportunities, work experience. So whenever someone hires the space, they buy a drink, a snack, it goes towards our free youth program.
Yes.
Rosa Mary. That's something I've been there once before. I'm going to come and check it out again.
Thank you.
And what people should realize is that the role of sound systems has always been the bringing together of the community using music as the medium. It's as simple as that. That has always been the role from sound systems were created in Jamaica in the 1940s. It's the bringing together of the community, harnessing together of the community, using music as the medium. So whether you want to say on the corner or at stage shows or whatever, is the bringing together of the community, using music as the glue. Simple thing.
Yeah, and definitely agree. And music, especially sound system, hasn't just dealt with music on the corner. Anywhere we go nationally in England, the chat is going to be the same. It's build a nation in terms of sound system and reggae music. All the words we've said here, no matter what part you go in England where sound system is, you're going to hear the same language of how it built us all, socially, where that doesn't happen now with the young people. That's where I'm concerned. Now, we can bring back the love, you know what I mean? But we've had our fun. We can be supervisors now. My concern is the young people. Where's their fun? They're forced into their own pandemic. They don't go out nowhere. I've had discussions with young people. They can't go nowhere. So how do you have that social enjoyment of each other's company? And yes, we have to bring that back. So maybe we, as the elders, may have to start having functions.
I'm up for that.
And supervise the young people so they can come out, they can have their tailor cuts, they can dress well and come out and enjoy that social gathering, meet other people from all other cultures that enjoy, and I'm not just going to say reggae music, but I'm going to say reggae music because I like all kind of music. Yeah, so bring that back because at the moment the young people have nowhere. I didn't really actually know that until I spoke to these 3 young ladies. And I hope when we have that, I'm going to ask them, which 2 of them are my granddaughters, I'm going to ask 4 of them actually. I'm going to ask them to come next time. You know what I mean? Because we can let you all know of how we enjoyed.
No, but actually some of that is being done, I know that personally.
Yeah.
So all we need to do is not that it's not existing.
Yeah.
Some of that is done is to increase it. Some of that is being done. I know that personally. So you have young people who are on board.
Yeah.
We just need to increase the more of them to get involved. And that's our duty. Simple.
Yeah, I would agree.
100%. Navi, you have anything to say about that?
I think that everybody's contribution to even the people that have asked questions, everybody on the panel, Virgo Dan, big up yourself, Colonel Bosby, big up yourself. Everybody's contribution here is just as equally as important. Everybody's viewpoint is equally as important. We have a lot of politics and layers of all of these blockages to contend with all the time. The reason why, you just go back to the criminal justice law at all, or just that alone. If anybody doesn't know about that, just go and look that up online. Criminal justice law, that changed the whole landscape of what we do musically just because of that law. Do you understand me? And then the whole noise abatement thing. So everybody's contribution today has been absolutely fantastic. Sterling work, Mr. Mark, Professor. I've really enjoyed sitting on this panel, listening to Mandingo, listening to you, Mary, listening to you, Shocker. I don't even know who you are, boss, and you lived on the farm. I used to live here. No, it's just... You would remember it, but you We most probably was a little boy them times here, yeah. But I don't, because I left in 95. So you understand me. But this place, Broadwater Farm, nationally, is a very important part of a lot of things musically, because from those sound system days to today, we've seen a lot of progression and it's still flourishing. You know, the only way we're going to make money really out of it is from the live scene at the moment, you know, when you're out doing your gigs. So then the work is putting the music out there to get the promotion, to be able to get the live gig. That's how you really make your money and earn your weekly wage, like you were saying, because you got your bills to pay, like you said, Mandingo. That's literally how I'm surviving, like it's off of live money, because your royalties, unless you're selling billions or you're streaming billions, you're not making no money. But I think that it doesn't matter, because as Virgo done said, and as Busby said, when we got into this thing, this wasn't about money. This was about the love. And I can feel a lot of love in here tonight. People that have turned up just out of the blue just to come and hear what's going on. Why? Because we come from the foundation of love of music, you know? And I'm very honored to have been here and to have had this discussion with you guys. I've learned a lot from you, Shaka. I learned a lot from you, Mary. I learned a lot from you, Mandingo. Me and class for the whole cahoots. We are run around. God, he knows when. So, you know what I mean? But then there's also things that you spoke about. Like, I didn't know that the first community is... I've heard about that. You kind of reminded me. But I wasn't there in the Crescent days. But I heard about that. Do you know what I'm saying? So... And it's 40 odd years here, 50 years of evolution. And here we are sitting here speaking about all of this stuff. And I still feel there's a lot more legs in things. But in terms of the community and getting people to actually come out here and getting to people to put these events on, that's where the work is. It's just not as simple as that. You can't just say, boy, I keep a little dance over here. So, yo, no, come, because nobody's not around to say, come anymore. People don't come out their yard, they're scared. Why? Because all of this chopping up and everything, people running down the road with swords and machetes trying to chop each other up for whatever reason, people catching a stray bullet. This is right here, right now. And that's the reason why people don't want to come out of their yard. But community is so important, as everybody's been saying. And sound system was like the hub of our community here in Tottenham. And as Mandingo says, it shouldn't be that somebody's died or it's a night or a funeral that brings the community together anymore. You know, we need to find a way. How we're going to do it, I have no clue. But, you know what I mean? It's definitely something we're going to work on.
We're going to work away. We have people that interested, want to support. There's us that's here, veterans, legends like yourselves, who's done it before, and we can do it again. And it says not reinventing the wheel. We have the space, we have the sound. Yeah.
You do it by doing it, putting on the events. Exactly. No substitute for action.
Well, we have to, I'm looking at the looking at the time. Well, give it up for the panel. Mary, Mandingo, Plasford, Navigator, Shaka, myself, Mark, Professor, Antonio, Community Radio. Is it Community Radio? Community Music. So, I big up Jade, contacting me, Iron Damage.
Is that you? Pyro?
Yes, Pyro.
Right. I'm looking at you like,
yeah,
I know that dude.
You know it, yeah. And Count Shelley and the crew and everybody for turning up. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes. Thanks for you, the audience.
To showcase as well. And Texas Ranger. All right, cool.